Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing great. Today, we're diving into the phrasal verb get on. All right, so let's take a look at how we actually use get on in real life. First, we use get on when we talk about getting onto a bus, a train, a bike, or any kind of transport. So basically, when we move on to something. For example, I got on the bus near my house. She got on the train at the first station. He got on his bike and left. Now, another very common use of get on is when we talk about relationships. When we say get on, we mean having a good relationship with someone. For example, I get on well with my coworkers. She gets on with everyone in the team. They don't get on very well. We also use get on when we talk about progress or continuing something. For example, how are you getting on with your project? He is getting on well at his new job. We need to get on if we want to finish on time. And there's one more use. We use get on when we talk about age. For example, he is getting on in years. My grandparents are getting on, but they're still active. She's getting on now and prefers a quieter life. So, the main idea behind get on is moving forward or upward. It could be physical, like getting onto a bus, or more abstract, like progress or relationships. Now, just to give you a quick idea in other languages. In Spanish, you might say subirse, llevarse bien, or avanzar. In French, monter, bien s'entendre, or progresser. In Portuguese, subir, se dar bem, or progredir. In Italian, salire, andare d'accordo, or progredire. In German, einsteigen, sich gut verstehen or vorankommen. In Japanese, noru, nakayoku suru or shisumu. And in Chinese, shangche, xiangchu rongqia or jinzhan. Now, when do people usually use get on? Well, we use get on when we talk about getting on to transport, when we describe relationships, when we talk about progress, and when we talk about age. Let me give you a few quick examples to bring everything together. I got on the bus too late. She gets on well with her manager. How are you getting on with your tasks? He is getting on in years. We need to get on if we want to finish today. Now, let's talk a little bit about the grammar. Get on is inseparable, so we always keep get and on together. We usually use it like this. Get on the bus. Get on with your team. Get on with your work. We can also use pronouns. Get on with them. Get on with it. So here's the key point. We don't separate it, and the structure depends on what we're talking about. All right, now let's practice. First, you're going to hear a short everyday situation. Then, you'll hear a workplace or professional example. Are you ready? Let's start. This morning, I left the house a little earlier than usual. I walked to the bus stop and got on the bus just as the doors were closing. I found a seat by the window and watched the city wake up. A few stops later, an older man sat next to me. We started talking, and we actually got on really well. It felt easy, like we had known each other for a long time. He told me stories about his life, and I just listened. When I arrived downtown, I got on with my day. I had a few things to do, so I tried to stay focused. At first, I was a bit distracted, but after a while, I managed to get on with everything I needed to finish. Around midday, I met a friend for lunch. We've always got on well, and it's always nice to spend time together. We talked about work, family, and how quickly time is passing. At one point, she joked that we're both getting on in years, and we both laughed. After lunch, I went back home and decided to finally get on with cleaning my apartment. I had been putting it off for days, but once I started, it wasn't that bad. I just kept going and tried to get on with each task one by one. Later in the afternoon, I sat down with my laptop and tried to get on with a personal project I've been thinking about. It's not easy to stay consistent, but I'm slowly making progress. By the evening, I felt calm. It wasn't a busy day, but it was productive. I managed to get on with my responsibilities and still enjoy small moments along the way. Great, that was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now, let's move on to the second text. I arrived at the office early because I wanted to stay ahead of a busy day. As soon as I walked in, I got on the elevator and reviewed my schedule for the morning. We had a team meeting, a client call, and a few deadlines to meet. When I got on with my emails, I noticed a message from my manager asking for an update on our project. I replied quickly and then tried to get on with the report I had been working on. It had taken a few days, but I was finally making good progress. Later, during the team meeting, I realized how important it is that we all get on well with each other. The discussion was smooth, and everyone shared ideas openly. One of my colleagues mentioned how much easier work becomes when teams really get on and trust each other. After the meeting, I got on with preparing for the client call. I reviewed the presentation and made a few last changes. When the call started, everything went well. We stayed focused and continued to get on with the agenda without any major interruptions. In the afternoon, I checked in with a teammate to see how she was doing. She said she was trying to get on with her tasks, but needed a bit of help. We worked together for a while, and by the end, things were moving much faster. As the day came to an end, I looked at everything I had done. I felt satisfied because I had managed to get on with my responsibilities and support my team at the same time. Before leaving, I shut down my computer and took a moment to reflect. It had been a productive day, and everything had moved forward just as planned. Great, that was the second text. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.